What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of the 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below. Thanks for being here, guys, to the best entertainment related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. We've talked on the YouTube channel a number of times about Rollercoaster Tycoon. This was one of those simulated games, guys, that I absolutely loved. It was one of my favorites when we were talking about, simulators and things of that nature. And so with this series, guys, I've said for a long time now that series and kind of, franchises like Rollercoaster Tycoon deserve to continue in one way, shape, or form. And we've seen continuations of Rollercoaster Tycoon up to this point, but what we really haven't seen in quite some time is a continuation of the main series of Rollercoaster Tycoon. So let's talk about it here in more detail, and I'd love to get your guys' thoughts about this in the comment section below. According to Wikipedia, guys, if we go through this, we've seen essentially 4 titles in the main series of Rollercoaster Tycoon, that being the very first one coming out in 1999. So guys, this is a series that dates back before, basically the late 90s, and has gone throughout the course of the 2000s to the 2010s. And now we're wondering, where is this series going to go? Where are they trying to move this series, and what direction are they planning on going in? Because Rollercoaster Tycoon, it came out in '02, a couple of years after the first edition of the series. And then you had Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 coming out in 2004. And then we had to wait a pretty long time, guys, until we got Rollercoaster Tycoon World, which came out all the way in 2016. So you had '04 with Rollercoaster Tycoon 3, and then 2016 with Rollercoaster Tycoon World. And then, of course, guys, we've had a number of spin-offs, and this is where, what we're kind of getting into. Why haven't we seen a Rollercoaster Tycoon 5 at this point, after Rollercoaster Tycoon World? And part of the answer could most likely be in the fact of the spin-offs that have came from this series, guys. So look, you had Rollercoaster Tycoon 3D back in 2012. You had Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 that came out in 2015. You had Rollercoaster Tycoon 4 mobile. So both of these are mobile games. And pretty much all the spin-offs, guys, that, have come out at this point, you have, some of them have come out on, PC, as well as like on, some of them even on the Nintendo Switch, which would be the Rollercoaster Tycoon Adventures. And so you've had a number of different even spin-offs of this franchise. But the question here is why haven't they continued the main series at this point? I think the reason is, guys, is because they keep on making these spin-offs, and I'm sure that these spin-offs are actually doing pretty well on mobile devices. I know I've played them myself, and I find them to be pretty fun, but nothing compares to the main series of Rollercoaster Tycoon when we're talking on a PC, being able to create your theme parks and such. And maybe they just thought that it was getting too repetitive. There was Zoo Tycoon. There's been other games, of course, within, this genre, of course. Part of their legacy is Planet Coaster, a spiritual successor to Rollercoaster Tycoon 3, was developed and published by Frontier Developments for Microsoft Windows and was released worldwide on November 17, 2016. Frontier Developments had previously worked in the amusement park construction and management genre with the Xbox port of Rollercoaster Tycoon, Rollercoaster Tycoon 3, Thrillville, Thrillville Off the Rails, and Zoo Tycoon. So, look, even when you look at that, guys, Planet Coaster, which is a spiritual successor, also came out because of Rollercoaster Tycoon. And then, of course, you've got, Thrillville, you have Zoo Tycoon, you have all these other, kind of spiritual successors or, kind of spin-offs of Rollercoaster Tycoon and kind of what it had started and kind of what the culture it was kind of building around this game. And what I'll say is, guys, is that I believe that the cost to make these main games in the series probably were just too much, and it made more sense for them to do these spin-offs on mobile devices because they were actually probably selling a lot better. Because I believe from Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 to Rollercoaster Tycoon World, this as far as the reviews are concerned and even the sales, Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 did really well, but then Rollercoaster Tycoon World didn't do quite as well as the other editions of the main series. So maybe they're just kind of waiting to bring out another main adaptation. And where's Rollercoaster Tycoon 5 at this point, guys? To continue the main series, which I believe deserves to coexist and continue the legacy and all of that of Rollercoaster Tycoon, because this was a really great series, guys, and it was a lot of fun. Really one of those, games that you would just kind of sit down on a rainy day and you would just kind of build your own theme park. And it was, really had some cool mechanics and different, things about it that made it very unique in the gaming space. And what I'm hoping is that they can continue evolving the Rollercoaster Tycoon franchise in a way, because of graphics and all of that, that this could be something that can continue in the future. What I will say is this, guys. At this point in time, of course, the latest release was Rollercoaster Tycoon Adventures. And I'm not going to say, guys, that... or I should say Rollercoaster Tycoon Story was their latest game that came out. But when you really look at it, guys, from a standpoint of the PC side of things, that being, the Rollercoaster Tycoon main series, Rollercoaster Tycoon Adventures was the last game that really came out. It came out on Microsoft Windows via the Epic Games Store on March 19, 2019. Now, Rollercoaster Tycoon Story came out in 2020 for iOS and Android mobile devices. So it's free-to-play. Title is based on the tile matching genre, which the tiles to match move each turn on roller coaster tracks within each level. Completing levels helps the player to restore a rundown theme park as part of the game's narrative. Which, look, at the end of the day, you can only get so much out of a mobile game, guys. I mean, let's just be real about it. But when we're talking about games that you can actually play on PC, I'm hoping that we see a continuation of Rollercoaster Tycoon in the main series, because I think it deserves to coexist with other, simulation games out there. But let me know what you guys think. Where do you guys think Rollercoaster Tycoon 5 is at this point? Is it in an indefinite hiatus at this point? Is it in a limbo state? Do you guys think it will come out at some point or another? Do you think they'll continue the main series, or do you think they'll just keep on doing spin-offs? Let me know what you guys think. And for more Rollercoaster Tycoon 5 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. We've talked on the YouTube channel about Starfield, which is going to be the next release from Bethesda, which I know a lot of us are really excited about, and I know most of you out there, though, are more so really into the Elder Scrolls franchise. But this is one, guys, that, look, a game that I think a space epic from Bethesda could be something special, as long as they don't riddle it with a bunch of, microtransactions and things of that nature that could really hurt the game over time. But I think that this could be something special here that we're just going to have to wait to hear more information about. Well, there may very well be, guys, a release date a lot sooner than a lot of us are thinking. And in an article, guys, written by Liam Martin of Express, the Starfield release date and gameplay reveal good news and bad news for Bethesda fans. Starfield could get a surprise 2020 release date, although the good news ends there. So it could, guys. This has not been confirmed whatsoever. However, the thought of a Starfield game coming out in 2020 sounds pretty exciting, to say the least. Even though later this year, there's going to be a lot of games coming up, and there are, a lot of games bunching up near the end of the year, which of course there's still the Call of Duty title that hasn't been revealed or, announced as of yet. I mean, we're still waiting. I mean, obviously you have Assassin's Creed. You've got all these different games that are supposedly coming out later this year. Some have been delayed due to the pandemic going on. But Starfield would be coming out in a time where there's a lot of other competition. Might be interesting, to say the least. Starfield was among the heavy hitters announced by Bethesda during its 2018 E3 conference. Little is known about Bethesda's mysterious new IP, which doesn't have a release date and hasn't been confirmed for any specific platforms. Fortunately, however, this could be about to change, as the Starfield website is updated by Bethesda. It's only a small thing, but the Starfield website now bears a provisional PEGI age rating and has an ESRB rating pending logo. This would suggest that a full Starfield reveal is imminent, most likely during the ongoing Summer Game Fest event. Better still, and this is pure speculation, if Bethesda does fully unveil Starfield soon, then it could launch within the next year. So look, Saying that this is a game that would probably come out this year, I think is a stretch. I mean, it could, guys. You can never say never to anything because, there's been games, guys, like think of Apex Legends gets announced, comes out like very shortly after. There's a lot of games out there that have done this. They announce it, they reveal, something, and then very shortly afterwards, the game actually comes out, whether it's a free-to-play game or a game that you actually pay to play. That being said, I don't think Starfield's going to be a free-to-play game, but if it comes out this year, maybe it'll come out very soon. Maybe it'll come out in the summer. Who knows? I would say, guys, realistically, it sounds like it's going to probably, maybe, we'll start seeing more of Starfield this year, and then it'll probably come out at some point in 2021. That would just be my personal opinion. In recent years, Bethesda has tended to showcase a high-profile game in summer before launching in the autumn. So, obviously, guys, there's definitely a possibility that they could, reveal it in the summer and then the autumn, because that is true. They might release it. Who knows? While an imminent Starfield reveal looks increasingly likely, fans are going to have to wait a lot longer for Elder Scrolls 6 information. That's according to Bethesda executive Pete Hines, who told fans that info on Elder Scrolls 6 could be years away. As for Elder Scrolls 6 info on Twitter, Hines replied, "It's after Starfield, which you pretty much know nothing about. So if you're coming at me for details now and not years from now, I'm failing to properly manage your expectations." And one thing that you got to look at there, guys, is what he says is coming at me for details now and not years from now. I'm failing to properly manage your expectations. So what he's basically saying, guys, is that the Elder Scrolls 6 game is years away, which is really unfortunate. Probably 2 to 3 years at least. As for Starfield, what we do know is that it's some kind of space epic. It's also Bethesda's first new franchise in 25 years. Discover Starfield, the new space epic currently in development by Bethesda Game Studios, reads the official Starfield description. Starfield is the first new franchise in 25 years from the acclaimed developers of the Elder Scrolls and Fallout series. So look, at the end of the day, guys, I've said this in the past, before, and I'll say it again. The Starfield release date may be closer than you think, and I'm not going to say that it's going to come out this year, because even when I was talking about Starfield in the past, I was saying, it might come out like in 2021. It may even come out, sooner than that. It's hard to say, but more and more information is starting to ramp up, guys, and I'm going to be giving you guys all more information as it comes out. So where is Starfield? You might be asking yourself. Guys, it's definitely in development at this point. They're updating the website. They're probably getting closer and closer to having some sort of reveal. Whether it's going to be big or small is a whole nother thing. But I think we might hear more information this summer, and I'll be sure to keep you guys all up to speed once that information comes out. But let me know what you guys are most excited about with Starfield. Let me know in the comment section below. And for more Starfield content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. Dragon Age is a series that has captivated so many people, guys, and there are many people out there who have been really looking forward to the next continuation of the Dragon Age franchise, a franchise that dates back to 2009, guys, and we haven't seen a continuation since 2014. Let's talk about what happened to Dragon Age, and we can kind of give a little bit of some context on the previous history of Dragon Age and where the series could be going in the future. So let's talk about it. So guys, according to Wikipedia, we can go through all the video games up to this point. So we start off with Dragon Age Origins back in 2009, and then the latest addition to this franchise was in 2014. We had, of course, Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age Journeys, which came out both in 2009, and then 2010 you had Dragon Age Origins Awakening. And so some of these guys are obviously spin-offs, and as well as like DLC and things of that nature. So in the main series, you had Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Inquisition was the latest in the franchise up to this point as far as the main series is concerned. Now, as far as spin-offs are concerned, you had Dragon Age Journeys, Dragon Age Legends, Heroes of Dragon Age, and Dragon Age The Last Court. And so all of these guys were, of course, kind of like those spin-offs of the main series of Dragon Age. And people have been waiting quite some time for a continuation of this series. Now, That being said, we have been getting more and more information about Dragon Age 4, which is, of course, the upcoming continuation of this series. The fourth main entry in the series is under development as of 2020. Development of this game, codenamed Joplin, began in 2015. It was originally intended to be a smaller, more narrative-focused game set in the Tevinter Imperium region of the game's world. Problems with the development of BioWare's other games, Mass Effect, Andromeda, and Anthem, led to repeated interruptions as Joplin staff was shifted to these games. In October 2018, BioWare and its parent company, EA, canceled Joplin altogether, reportedly because it did not provide for a live service component providing ongoing monetization opportunities. Development of Dragon Age 4 was restarted under the codename Morrison, this time with a live service component and based on Anthem's code. So, what happened to Dragon Age, guys, between 2014 and now? I would say, guys, Dragon Age 4 has been through a development hell because of BioWare's most recent games, that being Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda. And whether you like those games or not, it just doesn't, you can't really kind of disagree with the facts. The facts are the facts, guys. I liked Mass Effect Andromeda. I did not like Anthem. I thought that Mass Effect Andromeda was pretty underrated. I thought it had, some really cool concepts and such. I just, obviously didn't land well for the entire fan base. And Anthem was a whole nother thing, just lots of issues there. And so what ends up happening is, guys, BioWare takes people from these projects or from Dragon Age 4 and moves them into Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda, which ended up not being good games all in all to most people, getting bad reviews, and the sales weren't that great either. And now they're working on Dragon Age 4, even though it was canceled the first time because of monetization. And this just shows you the disconnect between BioWare and EA, and then EA and the fan base. And this just been a big problem that's been happening for years now, but we're not going to go on a rant about that, guys. Dragon Age 4 luckily is being restarted. And here at the end of the day, I know a lot of people are upset about the live service component based on Anthem's code that's coming to Dragon Age 4. But here's the other option is that you don't get a Dragon Age 4 at all. So at least we're getting a Dragon Age 4. Now look, at the end of the day, could it hurt the series as a whole? Absolutely. It could definitely tarnish the name of the Dragon Age name. But at the same time, Mass Effect Andromeda, you could say that ruined the Mass Effect series. But then all it takes, guys, is one game to hurt a series. It takes one game to bring it back to life. So I think that Mass Effect 4, if that's the next one that will come out or whatever it might be, could very well bring the series in the right direction. And so with Dragon Age 4, at least you're getting another continuation of the franchise, whether it's riddled with, live service components and monetization tactics. At least you're getting a continuation of the series. And you would much rather have that than nothing at all. And so I think it's important that it still comes out. Hopefully BioWare is able to kind of right the ship in the right direction. It does concern me, though, that this has been a game that's been in a development hell at this point. Because when you look at everything, guys, as far as the critical reception of these games up to this point, I mean, the critical reception, guys, for each game in the main series has been really good. I mean, you're talking, guys, basically the lowest that they got was Dragon Age 2 on the Xbox 360 got a 79, and that was the lowest, guys. Basically, you can say that this is getting anywhere between 80, like 80s to even the low 90s as far as Metacritic ratings are concerned between all these games at this point. And so the critical reception, guys, they've received positive acclaim all throughout. Now the sales, that's the second part. So number one is usually you see the games that are in a indefinite hiatus or a limbo state, usually when those games have bad critical reception or bad sales. So in Dragon Age's case, they got really good critical reception. So let's see the sales. Dragon Age Origins topped Steam sales charts on November 10th, 2009. The digital deluxe version of the game was ranked first place, with the standard edition ranked second. The Xbox 360 version of the game was the 9th best-selling game in the US according to the MPD Group, selling approximately 362,100 copies. According to John Riccitello, CEO of Electronic Arts, the company is very satisfied with the sales of Origins. More than 1 million DLC packs for the game were sold before the end of 2009. In February 2010, Electronic Arts announced that more than 3.2 million copies of the game have been sold. Dragon Age 2 sold more than 1 million copies in less than 2 weeks following its launch on March 8, 2011, a faster sales pace than its predecessor when it was released in 2009. By May of 2011, it has sold over 2 million copies. And then Dragon Age Inquisition is the most successful video game launch in BioWare's history based on units sold. Inquisition debuted at number 5 in UK in its first launch week. According to retail monitor ChartTrack, it had sold almost the exact amount of launch week copies as 2011's Dragon Age 2. This does not take into account direct digital download sales, however, which have been noted to be a significant percentage of sales by BioWare, and thus the true number of sales is higher. So, the critical reception is pretty positive overall. Some critical acclaim, actually. And then number 2, the sales, very good as well. I mean, most successful video game launch in BioWare's history was Dragon Age Inquisition. So look, guys, it's not the critical reception. It's not the sales. So what is it? Why haven't we seen a game, since 2014? Well, really, guys, I believe it's a development hell, kind of place that this game and this series is in currently, because of EA and BioWare, whether we're talking creative differences, whether we're talking EA or BioWare pooling people from Dragon Age to work on Anthem, as well as, some of their other games. I mean, Mass Effect Andromeda. So, look, at the end of the day, guys, Dragon Age is in development, it seems. It's been restarted. It's gone through a development hell, unfortunately, and hopefully they can really get this, moved in the right direction. And it does make you nervous when you hear things like they want to have live service components, they want to have ways that they can monetize, which at the end of the day, guys, when we look at, the landscape of gaming, this is what most video games are doing nowadays in order to make extra money, to make it worth their, time and efforts, marketing, all of those things. Because when you think about it, if video games went up with inflation, video game prices would be a lot more than just the $60 that it stayed basically since the beginning of time with video games. They haven't really gone up with inflation. So if you think about it, if they're relying on, just on $60 to pay, obviously for a per copy, they're probably going to be losing money at the end of the day because it hasn't gone up with inflation. And then on top of that, the technology and all of those things are just going up and up over time as well. So you have to look at it from a couple of standpoints, guys, from a business perspective as well as, a consumer perspective. And so with this, it does make you nervous when you hear about live service components, when you hear about monetization tactics, and we all know EA and their history with this. But at the end of the day, they do have to make money, and in order to continue making these games for us. So look, I believe that this is a game that is going to come out in the next few years. What happened to it? I think it's been in a development hell stage, as well as, probably a limbo state, to say the least, because of Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda. But let me know, guys, what do you guys want to see in Dragon Age 4 at this point? What is it that you guys want to see? What are you most excited about? Let me know in the comment section below. And for more Dragon Age content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. Avatar was, of course, the highest grossing movie of all time for a while until the Avengers Endgame came out. And I think, guys, that many of us, even though there was a lot of us were, a lot of mixed reviews on Avatar as a whole, none of us can disagree with the sheer amount of just the way the movie looked from a graphical standpoint, from using, all of the VFX and everything that James Cameron used in the original Avatar movie. I mean, just so many people absolutely were stunned at just how gorgeous that world looked, the world of Pandora. And so a lot of us have been really looking forward to the continuation of this series in a major standpoint. And I would say, guys, that at this point, where is Avatar 2? So let's talk about that. So we've talked about Avatar 2 on the YouTube channel up to this point, and I want to talk about, where is this movie at? Are they, done with, filming, or, what is going on at this point? Is it going to be delayed significantly because of the pandemic? What is the status here? Well, guys, this movie was, and actually we could say a number of movies, because they were basically filming some of these movies back to back, that being like Avatar 2 and Avatar 3. They were actually filming all the live action sequences in New Zealand in the spring of 2019, so a while ago, right? They announced, filming with the principal performance capture cast had been completed in November 14th of 2018. So look, this has been such a long process, guys, that we have been, it's just been going on and on, it seems like, for forever. Now, I know a lot of it has to do with James Cameron wanting to shoot certain sequences underwater, and he didn't feel like the technology was quite there yet, so he's waited all these years to get these underwater sequences filmed, and so that's why, part of the reason why it's taken so long. Other than that, it's also, they've been going through number of script rewrites, and just a lot of different issues, like whether it might be creative differences or whatever the case might be. It's taken a while to get the ball rolling. Seems like finally we've at least had the ball rolling now for since 2018. So where are they at now? I think, guys, pretty much they're probably wrapping up, most of what they need to for at least Avatar 2. The question now comes down to the marketing. It comes down to, when this this movie is going to release. And I believe it's supposed to come out in December of 2021. And with the pandemic going on, is it going to get pushed back? I think there's a possibility, because of the other movies that are now getting pushed back a year or so. That were supposed to come out in 2020 are now going to come out in 2021. Which leads to a lot more competition, let's put it that way. But Avatar 2, I do believe, guys, is on the way. It's going to be coming out at some point or another. And I know it's been so long. It's felt like years and years, and I'm almost not even going to believe anything until we actually are able to watch the movie. It's just, it feels like surreal that we're even talking about Avatar 2 at this point, because it's been so many years later that this movie is finally going to be coming out for all of us to witness. But I think a lot of it has to come down to, guys, just those script rewrites, wanting to film, underwater. And look, I'll give you an example, and I've said this before. With George Lucas, when he was filming the Star Wars movies, he filmed 4, 5, and 6. He filmed Star Wars Episode 4, Episode 5, and Episode 6 first, because he thought that the technology wasn't there yet for Episode 1 with the pod race that Anakin was in. So he filmed 4, 5, and 6 first, then comes back and does 1, 2, and 3 when the technology was there. He felt that he could film the rest of the stuff, the rest of 4, 5, and 6 first, because he felt that wasn't anything that technologically would impair the movie. And then you get to 1, 2, and 3, and you kind of see why, and why he waited on it. So look, at the end of the day, I believe that's part of the reason why James Cameron, he's been taking his time. He's been, obviously with the script and the number of script rewrites, and then, of course, wanting to film underwater these significant sequences, which I'm really excited to see what they do underwater with the underwater technology that they use. Who knows, guys? He knows, James Cameron knows, that in order to really keep the audience engaged and excited about this and build the hype in a major way, they've got to almost blow this thing out of the water again. Avatar, the first one, that everyone saw, was like blown away. Are we going to be blown away again in Avatar 2, Avatar 3, Avatar 4, Avatar 5, which apparently there's going to be 4 more Avatar movies coming out. Who knows how many more after that? It's hard to say. This is James Cameron's baby, and he's taken his time with it, and I can't wait to see it. But where is Avatar 2 at this point, guys? Most likely, they might have to do some reshoots, potentially. They may be pretty much done. Who knows? They might be done, and at this point, they're just editing. They're doing all of the, all of the different VFX that they need to, and then this movie will come out in 2021, which they'll probably start promoting it, early 2021, and they'll come out later in the year, as long as with the pandemic and such, they don't have to delay it once again. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed again, guys. But let me know what you guys are most excited to see in Avatar 2. I'll tell you guys, I'm excited to see the underwater sequences. It feels like that's part of the reason why there's been such a hang up here, is because of those underwater sequences. So hopefully we get an opportunity to check that out and get to see it in 2021. But let me know what you guys are most excited about in the comment section below. And for more Avatar 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.